Hi, my name is Shona Cutt and I'm a music photographer and graphic designer.
Hi Shona, thank you for coming along to do this interview with me for Music Behind the Lens. It's much appreciated. I know you came a long way, but your roots are from Ayrshire, and so you're a bit like myself, we travel all over the place.
Yep.
So obviously you found the place, Sound Magic.
Mm-hmm.
I like to always give them a little bit of plug here in there, the music studio that we're in. Obviously, I've asked you to pick 5 images along with a number of other images that you've given me, and we'll talk about that later. What we'd like to know about you as a photographer and a graphic designer, how it all began.
Well, it probably started when I was about 14, 15 and started getting into music, and I bought my first issue of classic rock when I was about 14. Read it religiously, and then I started paying attention to like album artwork and looking at the photography work, so the work of Ross Halfon, Kevin Nixon, Tina Cohorn, and
all good names.
Yeah,
especially Ross Halford.
Yeah, like Mick Rock, Neil Preston, all those types of people, and like getting interested in the layout of it as well. So I started, went on to do graphic design at college, with always the mind that I wanted to do something like in the music area, graphic design, like doing album artwork or posters, and being able to do the photography as well would be, it's like one of my dreams to do. Just being able to like do everything basically. I'm a bit of a control freak, so I like to have control of everything, which is
I think we're all like that.
So but it wasn't until I never used to take cameras at gigs until it just something just clicked. I thought I'll take it. I had a wee point and shoot at the time, and I started just like shooting from the crowd. So like I took it to see when I was watching bands like Velvet Revolver, people like that, like playing like the SACC in Glasgow and Barfly and places like that. And I started getting quite good shots from where I was, from like just from the crowd, and I even had people behind me, like watching what I was doing. Oh yeah, that's a really good shot. How'd you manage to get that? I thought, I've got there's something in this. So eventually, I did that throughout when I was at uni. Like did graphic design at uni, and like photography always formed quite a big part of my work. So like design and photography goes like hand in hand for me. So I left uni and I ended up getting a 2-week placement at Classic Rock magazine. I was working with like the art editors at the time, and then I spent some time in the studio doing some art direction and like talking to people like Kevin Nixon, Rob Long, and Will Ireland, and they had a look at like what I showed them some of my shots at the time, and I was still on like a wee point and shoot, and Kevin said, you need to get a DSLR. Like, yeah, okay. So yeah, eventually come home, got my first DSLR, December that year, I think. It was a Canon 550D.
It's a good wee camera, that.
Yeah, and then I ended up, I was working in, I was kitchen porter at the time in Ayr, and one of my pals that I worked with, he was in a band called The Underdog Theory, so I just asked if I could take my camera to one of the rehearsals just to try it out one day, and I did, and they said, oh, you want to come and shoot some shows for us? So and that's how it started, basically.
Yeah, sounds a bit similar to mine.
Yeah.
Like I photographed Underdog Theory. Obviously, my nephew was in the band, Stefan, who was the bass player. But it's all the start of the early beginnings, and we all pick up a camera. We've all started with the point and shoots, but we didn't really know the insight and how to start. And as you start going with musicians who are probably used to seeing photographers taking their pictures, they'll probably know and they can identify the skill. I mean, I just remember seeing your images when I was working with the Underdog Theory as well, and it just blew me away.
Thank you.
It was something different. The thing that stood out for me was how you captured light.
Yeah.
In which most of the places that they were in were quite dark, and it was small. And we all know a full frame would probably take the light better than having a smaller an aperture and a lens. But I couldn't afford that. And
I was the same.
I had a Nikon D50 and a D2X, but I think it was the light that was in your images, and it fascinated me how you did it. And I think we met up a couple of times. I
remember seeing you at some of the shows. Yeah,
so that was quite a long time ago.
That was quite like being thrown in
yeah.
at the deep end of those Underdog Theory shows, because there were two. Did that wee tour with Sound Over Silence and Milsiek as well. And I just love photographing bands that've got a lot of energy and hair.
Yeah, well, it's like Shinty.
It's brilliant.
I've got a couple of images of him that I got jamming at the Dam, and I'm very proud of them.
Yeah.
And I think I sent him one of the images that I took of him. I'm not sure. He'll probably correct me. He'll probably message me now that to tell me whether I have or not. But yeah, exactly. And I wasn't sure what kind of genre of music that I would want to photograph. What kind of music is it you like? What is it that's...
Yeah, mainly like classic rock.
Right.
Something with a guitar. Right. Most things with a guitar. You know, it's a lot of energy. Quite a wide variety for somebody like classic rock, like AC/DC, Black Sabbath, and then I'll go to the heavier end, like Pantera, Sepultura, people like that, and then like Southern rock, so Cadillac 3, Lynyrd Skynyrd, White Buffalo, who's brilliant, and like quite a wide range of stuff.
Yeah, because I think for me, even though we've started similar photographing the same bands at the beginnings, I've went the other way, whereas I went more 80s and pop and electronic music. However, I would photograph anyone, I'm sure you would as well. But it's just nice to focus on a certain genre of music and what you like as well, because not only are you getting the buzz from that, you're getting the buzz using your camera and your artwork and stuff like that. Your graphic design work, tell me a little bit more about that.
So it's more like graphic design's my day job, really. So I was at Future Publishing for 5 years, and that's how I moved down to Bath after uni. So I was there for 5 years, and I started working on like 3D World Imagine Effects, and then I spent almost 3 years on the photography magazines, which was a brilliant learning curve. Like even just I was laying out the magazine, getting like photographers in the magazine. So like some music. Remember got Carrie Davenport in, and Tom Barnes as well, from what I remember. Like just suggesting them to like the editors, just these, you need to have these people in the magazine because they're brilliant.
I just remember at the photography show one year, I was standing and I heard your voice.
Oh yeah,
I think
that year, I think that was that year. I'd designed the cover of Digital Camera, which was on the Hordens photography show. So that was quite a big deal for me.
Definitely,
my first cover as well.
I think most people want to get something on the front cover. I think that's a goal for me. Probably not for everyone, but I don't know. It's just even Rolling Stone. But Digital Camera is a big camera magazine as well, because I buy it and I've subscribed to it as well. I don't know if you tried to sell it to me that day, did you?
I think I did.
You did. I probably did take a subscription. But that's fantastic. I mean, that's something to be proud of.
Yeah.
So with that, were you still getting a lot of shows and gigs?
Yeah, so I was sort of bands that I was shooting at the time. I just sort of at the point I would just ask, say, could I have a photo pass? Sometimes I would be doing it for future publishing.
Right.
Just depending on who the band was, or if I knew the support bands, I would try and get into the bigger shows like that through them.
Right. I just remember a feature on, because I buy the Nikon magazine for future publishing.
Yeah.
And they did features where they got the amateur in and they worked with the professional.
Yeah.
There was a section in that, and I think they did one with a music photographer.
Did.
I
did a couple.
actually, when I seen that, I thought maybe you had been part of that. Maybe you created it, or you were involved in it.
No, I think I only really spent about 6 months working on photo. Like there was a period of like 6 months where I was working on digital camera, PhotoPlus and N-Photo.
There's no one there for Canon there, is there? I'm just getting that a little bit in. That's why it was leading on to.
All right.
Did you do anything for Canon?
Yeah.
It's just that.
Yeah, so digital camera. I did one.
I just always like to talk about both.
Yeah, so PhotoPlus is a Canon only magazine. So
right, understand that, because it's a lot of people. I'm a Nikon shooter, and I know you would pick up a camera and use anyone, because we had that little discussion before.
Yeah.
But you're mainly a Canon as well, but you have worked with the Nikon.
Yeah.
Hence why my camera's sitting next to you, just in case you want to just like jump across to Nikon again.
All right, could be tempted. That D810's an amazing camera.
You were mentioning that you used a D810.
Yeah, I've used it. So one of the perks of working in some of the photography magazines would be getting to have a play with some of the gear.
All right, yeah, that's brilliant.
So I borrowed it for a gig that was SKAM at the Exchange in Bristol, which is a tiny little sweaty venue. It's a brilliant venue, but there's no lighting whatsoever. So I thought I'll try and see and put it through its paces.
Obviously, you're down in Bath. Is it for the music scene down there and photography wise? Is it quite a good area to be?
Yeah.
Shooting compared to Ayrshire and Glasgow?
Oh yeah, I'd say Bristol gets more of the shows. So I've just recently moved to Bristol. So most of the gigs I'm shooting are in Bristol. So that's saving quite a lot of time just travelling back from the shows and editing stuff.
Do you go to the Fleece?
Yes, go to the Fleece a lot.
The reason I mentioned that, one of my 5 images is the Stereo MCs.
All right.
And Stereo MCs were playing in there, and they commissioned me with one of my images that I took of them at Wickham.
Right.
It's the moving sliding one, and I've still got my posters. It's like they call them tear sheets, don't you? And I keep them that, and I was always, if I knew you were down there at that time, which you wouldn't be anyway, I'd probably say try and get the poster, because I did ask for them to keep it, and they said they binned them all.
Oh right,
you know,
they refurbed the Fleece a couple of years ago. It's still got a sticky floor, but
all right, I think most venues will get sticky floors.
Yeah, but the Fleece, it sort of like feels like going home. The Fleece, it's like my, it was the first venue I shot in when I moved down. Well, shot in Bristol anyway. So when I first moved to Bath, I contacted a guy that was running local chapters of the Hard Rock Hell.
Right.
So he had one in Bath, and I shot a couple of gigs there. And then one of the bands that I know, that I knew from like the MySpace days, Riot Noise, they were supporting Duff McKagan, who's bass player Guns N' Roses at the Fleece, and that was the first gig I shot in there.
Wow. Yeah.
Which was again trial by fire, because the Fleece, for anybody that doesn't know the venue, the Fleece has got big pillars throughout the venue, which is quite a challenge. They're also quite close up to the stage, right in the middle, which in a small venues, like shooting in small venues, sometimes it's hard enough without a great big pillar in the middle. But it's a great venue.
And if you get no pit either, and you're like, it's a bit like that. I don't know if you shot in the garage in Glasgow.
Yeah, the garage is great.
It's great though. Yeah. It's great, and you're so close. And I like that. I was shooting the professionals there on Friday, and I was running late. And as I was just getting prepared, just to check my exposure and my settings, because you shoot manual, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, I do as well, and I always adjust it because I know what it's like in the garage, and I think I come prepared, and we'll talk about strategies and plans and stuff like that later. Immediately it was the new bass player, and he was nearly hitting me with his neck of his bass.
Alright, yeah.
But I like that kind of shot. And I looked at a lot of your images. You've got a lot of close, tight images like that, which I absolutely love. And I don't do enough of that style. So we'll talk about your gear.
Okay. Yes, my first DSLR was a Canon 550, which I got with a kit lens and a standard telephoto lens, which I tried. I think I went to shoot the Underdog Theory at a bar called Slouch in Glasgow, and discovered very quickly that kit lenses don't hack it doing low lights at all, especially in somewhere like Slouch. But I swiftly went to Jessop's afterwards to try and find what else to use, and the guy overheard my conversation and said, "Oh, the best thing you can get is save your money on the camera body and get a better lens." And I ended up buying a Sigma 24-70 f 2.8 lens, which is still the one that I use now. So it's lasted a long
I think
time.
It's the glass is the important thing, and Sigma have came leaps and bounds. Specialising. I think they tried to get camera bodies, but I don't think they're really good at that.
Their art lenses are
amazing.
Yeah, I've not used that many of them.
I keep meaning to go and see them at the photography show. I keep walking past it, but this year I'm definitely going to do it.
Yeah, I think you should.
So I've probably made you lost track there. So you were talking about the camera bodies you were using just at Slouch. So take me back to that one.
Yeah, so I used that camera body for about 5 years. Shooting everywhere, so shoot the answer all over the place. Just chance of my luck getting asking the management for photo passes. Places like Sheffield. I was photographing SKAM quite a lot as well. I was trying to get out as much as I could, and then it got to the point where I thought there was something missing from my images. I needed another boost. And I finally decided to make the jump and got my 5D 2 years ago. Nearly cried when I went to pick it up, just because the difference that it makes shooting low light gigs is unbelievable. And I've also I've hired a couple of wide angle lenses. So I toured with the Answer, took my 5D, my 24-70, and I hired a 1.4 wide angle lens. I think that was a Sigma as well, and that was quite a cool thing to be able to play with. I should have had. Would have been nice to have another camera body for something that. But just for ease of carrying stuff, just had the one body. But for stuff like doing the crowd shots, it was easier to get the whole venue in with the crowd and the band.
And I've just obviously you're looking at my computer as well, and I just put an image up there, friend. It was when I was putting my distraction on there for you. And obviously it's a picture of the crowd, and I love those kind of pictures. And I've had opportunities to do it, but it's just getting the band organised or knowing you're going to be able to go on stage with them and do that, and have the crowd in the background. And I don't know why bands don't do it enough, because I think it's such an awesome picture,
it's hard.
Especially drum riser.
Yeah, like that. Some of them doing that and every night in the Answer tour was quite interesting, because sometimes, depending on where I was at I always had to make sure I was ready to go on stage, and I was waving waving my camera about so the band knew that, just to remind the singer, Cormac, to say, "Oh, can we get a wee photo with you guys?"
Yeah,
it's the last thing that they do. When they get to the last song, that's something like that's furthest from their mind. But I always just used to, when I was doing it in the Answer tour, just wave my camera and then wait until Cormac announced, "So can we get a wee photo with you guys?" and then just jump up on the stage. And sometimes it would be places like when they headlined Winter's End and Pool. The drum riser was quite a hard. That's probably the highest up I'd been.
And then seeing the crowd yourself,
it's
like, oh,
It's quite intimidating. It's weird. Sometimes I feel like the people aren't actually looking at me.
Yeah.
So when I do shoot from the stage, sometimes I do try and like duck behind the speakers or like amps and things. I just try not
Try and wear
not be
black
seen.
clothing.
Yeah,
dark
always
clothing.
wear. That's one of my top tips is to wear black.
Yeah, so I'm going to go through the top tips
All right.
at the end.
All right.
But no, that's fine. You can put them in any point in time that it just comes to mind. We talked about all the kind of gear that you spoke about there.
Yeah.
What's your current gear that you're using again?
It's Canon 5D Mark III, and my main lens is a Sigma 24-70 2.8, and I have got a wee Canon Nifty 50.
Nifty 50.
Yeah, which is great. And those are the two lenses that I've had pretty much since I started. And I have used my Tamron 70-300 a few times.
I've actually been filmed with a Tamron lens.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, they're good lenses, and they're half the price of the actual brand. However, I wouldn't say no to have a branded so that it works together. I can't fault the Tamron lenses.
No, they're still just as...
Yeah,
it's good.
Sigma as well, and Sony, and all these kind of good things. Have you thought about having a second body?
Yes, I would like to have another 5D or even a 6D.
Right.
Or 6D. Just to, I think if I do another tour, that would be, even just to hire one would make a big difference.
I mean, I've hired bodies and I've hired lenses before. And it's really good. It's Lens Pimp I use. Name drop there.
Right.
I just like to name drop every so often with people that I might want to contact. I might want to get involved in this. Nikon, Canon, Sony, Sigma, Tamron. So if someone was to hand you a Nikon camera, would you take it? Would you shoot with both?
I have shot
done
with
that.
both.
You're obviously an 810.
Yeah.
It's just interesting that I'm bringing that question up. I don't think it was in any of the questions that I put to you to give you some heads up. Because I've been thinking about other ones. It's when you go in the pit and you see people with two bodies. I've yet to see someone with a Canon and a Nikon.
That's interesting. It's the I've not seen that. I've seen people with that they'll have a small one of the Sonys. I've seen that, or a Sony or a Fuji with a full frame. But yeah, no.
Because the mirrorless, is that interesting you? Would you think about the mirrorless?
Interesting to see I've heard a lot about the mirrorless, but I've not had the chance to try it properly yet. It'd be interesting to see what the difference is.
Feedback, I think, from music photography, the stage lights are having a big effect on the sensor.
One of my photography pals is over in Belfast, Mark Leach. He uses Sony from what I believe, and he gets some brilliant shots. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's just how you work it and how you work the lights.
It's like anything. Like, you can have the best gear in the world and still take crap photos.
Exactly. Yeah.
Gear doesn't make you a good photographer.
Mobile phones. I touched on that in one of the questions that I put to you, and I usually ask, would you use a mobile phone? I use it for research, or maybe to catch a frame, or just to see certain things. But if I've got nothing else left and everything dies, you've got this scenario where all your gear dies on you, your batteries die, your cars die, and you think, I need to get that shot. Would you use your phone?
Probably, just so I had the shot, but to shoot an actual gig with a mobile phone, no.
I totally agree with you.
The camera in my phone's not that great for doing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them they're coming up for 12 megapixel, which most DSLRs, I don't know, SLRs are different because it's film.
I think if I'm at a gig without a photo pass, or if I'm just there as like a punter.
How far would you go to go and photograph that band that you want to photograph?
For most, I would go anywhere. People that know me know that the answer in my band, and I've gone, Oh yeah, travelled the length of the country just to see them. That's just to go and see one of their gigs, like in London. Like I think it was like 2009.
Okay.
When they just brought their 2008 maybe. They'd just come off tour and they were just it was in between their second. They were just going to drop their second album, and I hadn't seen them in like a year and a half, and I went to see them in London. God, it was Dingwalls in Camden, and but I'll go anywhere.
I think talking to Stuart Westwood, one of his 5 images that he's got, I think it's Twickenham. He's shot U2.
Yeah,
and it's the big wall at the back. And he talked about how he's a fan. He paid all the money to go down there. Yeah, he was commissioned through his agency to shoot them. But that's better because you're asked to go and photograph a band that you love.
Yeah.
I'm a bit like that with churches as well, and I've shot a number of big bands. And getting to the festivals, I'm more a festival shooter. Tend not to go to a lot of gigs just through work and time. But I enjoy all that. But that was just an interesting question that I thought I would ask everyone when I can, if I remember.
But if somebody like I don't know was playing in Australia, it doesn't matter if I had the means of going anywhere, everywhere to photograph bands, I would.
Yeah. Okay, we're just going to go into the next part of the interview. Okay, Shona, I got you to select 5 images. Now, those 5 images is really what the title's about, music behind the lens. Now, it's the stories behind as well as maybe your best images and maybe your best work. But it'd be interesting to find out a wee bit about that image, how you came about getting it, what you like about it, and any stories behind it.
Okay.
So your first image, just tell us about it.
So first image is portrait of Chuck Mosley, who was the first thing, used to be in Faith No More. Okay. Bad Brains and Cement as well, I believe. He was playing sort of like comeback tour in 2016, I believe, from what I remember. I can't remember. And he was playing in Bristol, and I thought, I'll just go down and see if I can get a photo pass. And it was just by I thought I'd chance my luck and try and see if I can get a portrait with him. Yeah. So messaged his manager, his tour manager at the time, Doug, and he managed to sort it out for me. Okay. So this was just shot backstage at a venue in Bristol called Beer Keller, which has sadly been shut down. And this was, I found out after, so it was shot just on the stairs at the back of the venue with just one flash gun. Yeah, and this was my 550 and 50mm lens. But it was just he had been on the road a couple of weeks at that point. I think by the time they hit Bristol, and like Chuck had a horrendous cold. Okay. And it was just like the way he carried himself. He was just a complete gentleman, and getting the opportunity to have the time with a legend like that was quite special. Like he was taking a shot of whiskey and a beer before he actually felt like any up to actually posing for me. But yeah, he was really accommodating, and he went to play on one of the most intense, strangest gigs I've ever seen. But it was brilliant, and he sadly died 2017. Okay. I think it was 2017. So. And I found out, I was told by Doug, his manager at the time, this was his first portrait in 20 years. Oh, that's so that was quite special.
Yeah. I mean, looking at the image and the technical, I just love just he's just pose. He's so relaxed.
Yeah, it was just him. He was quite.
Again, you're working light. Did you use flash in that?
Yeah, so I had a flash gun that
was it off camera or was it on camera?
Yeah, off camera. So I've got radio. It was radio triggered.
Right. Okay. I mean, taking that picture, and obviously it's somebody that you admire and you like him and stuff like that, and to get that opportunity, how did that make you feel? Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was really nervous. I remember.
Good nerves.
Yeah, it was good. good nerves, like butterflies sort of nerves, just like having the opportunity to be that close to somebody like that.
Yeah, I get that as well. I've been there
So it's
before.
not something to take for granted, because they just could easily have said no.
No.
But you know, if you don't ask, you don't get. So yeah.
It just looks so chilled out.
Yeah.
And that it looks like the stairway. It's like wooden stairs. Is that wooden stairs?
I think they're wooden and they've been painted over.
Right,
but
lovely. Just to cut the colours and the contrast, and even your final edit on it is even really works well. Did you have to do a lot of editing on it?
I did a fair bit. Like just tidying up because it's like that's where all the bands load in and out.
Right,
so there's
that.
the stairs were pretty manky and stuff.
I did that with the Real Thing images that I took in Anik for their promotional images, and it was nothing but weeds everywhere. And I took all them all out and cleaned it all up. It's a really great shot. What's that on his arm? Is that a kind of wristband? Is that just for the press?
I think it's just a wristband. I think that's
his t-shirt as well. I can see he's got a tartan shirt underneath it, and is that part of his jacket?
Yeah, he's got a t-shirt. It's typical like grungy type thing, and he has got nice silver nail polish on as well, which I thought was kind of cool.
Absolutely. It's a really lovely shot, and a special story behind it as well.
So it's, and the fact that it's he's sadly no longer with us as well.
I know. I think that's where it becomes. I don't know whether it's the right thing to say, but it is. It becomes more special because photography is creating history. It's creating a moment, and if you don't capture it, you never have it. And that's where I'm all about. Photography and video and anything, just do it. Don't be frightened, don't be shy. And I think the whole project that I'm doing as well for us guys as photographers and graphic designers and videographers, what you want to call us, is to feel what it's like to be the other side of the lens. As much as these guys here that you've just photographed. And he looks comfortable, he's looks relaxed with you, doesn't know you. You know, and like you said, they're cold. You can't tell that, he just looks, you've just captured it.
It just sums up, he was just a complete and utter gent, and after the performance, after his set, like, you know, you say to people, that was really good, but he actually, like, when he said, "Oh, thank you," he, like, one of those people that actually genuinely meant it. And they were going to do like loads of, they were going to come back over, do another tour, and I was hopefully going to photograph that, but these things happen. It was a shame.
Okay. Is there any more you want to talk on?
No, that's right.
Okay. You just want to move on to the next one.
So this is my second one, and it's of Paul Mahon from The Answer.
Right.
So I shot this when I was on tour with them, 2017 on their In This Land tour.
Okay.
And this was the last night of the tour in Nottingham. And Paul does this move, arching his back with his Les Paul during a couple of songs. And it's like it's one of his signature moves, and he always does it at certain points during like Under the Sky and things like that. And I caught it a few times at some of the other dates, and their tour manager Dan challenged me to say, "Right, I want you to take that shot. I want you to get it." And it just so happened that where I was at the venue in Nottingham, it was just where the lights hit.
Yeah.
Just everything fell into place, and
I can see that.
it's to 8 nights touring. Got that shot.
I mean, the composition's perfect. I looked at this image when you sent it to me, and
so I think there was that shot. I was trying to get the light behind his head, just enough so it wasn't like completely blowing out the image. But it was the yellow, the band of yellow light was on it. Was like quite a surprise. Well, sort of a surprise. I was just trying to line it up because that was one of the ones that rotate quite a lot.
Okay.
But it's just one of those images I knew I'd got it.
Yeah.
I knew I'd got it.
Myself and Stuart Westwood pointed that out, and that's what we talk about. When you know that image, you get a little bit of sense of pride, and you go, everything else just falls into place after that. You don't really matter as long as you get the one shot.
And that's it's like one of the feelings that I like to try and do music photography for, is seeing the passion and the excitement of the musicians themselves as well.
Yeah, I mean, I go on lines, rule of thirds and all that kind of stuff. Most photographers should do, but not everybody can do when you're in a pit. But that's advice I would give to a lot of people. Take your time and have a look. Or do your research. Obviously, you had a little bit of knowledge about the band and what they've done, and I know some musicians do that same thing. Vintage Trouble, the lead singer, for him, he has that bit where he jumps with his stand. I'm hoping to shoot them at the end of the month. Fingers crossed. But again, back to your image, the other bit that I liked about it, again, was the yellow beam of light. And it's showing his passion, and it's his pride, and he's in a moment. It's almost like, was that near the end of the song? Was it in the middle of the song?
It's sort of just as he's coming out of his solo, yeah. So he has a great big, amazing, like blazing solo that he does in that song. And
just the image at the back.
Yes, that's their logo from the album at the time, Solace. See, and I love how I've just it's caught in the.
Because then obviously the fans of that band, I mean, I don't know the band personally and I don't know them, but I will look at them now that you've brought that to light, and I'll research them. You've just captured everything that's needed for that image. For me, that would work well with for like a photo book that they would sell, merch, posters, anything for his main website. Does it get used for that now, or do they use it?
It's not. I don't think it's been used for anything as yet. But I say I've myself for my graphic design promotional stuff. I made that into a flat. I made it into illustration,
right?
Which is on my website.
Well, that's the thing. Is you picking your 5 images, and again getting back to why you picked this one, and I can see why, and that's why I was asking you, because for me that's that. I talk about that everybody that I've interviewed. There's images there where I would say, wow, that's a wall picture, you know, above my settee, or it's a massive wall. I mean, in this studio, you can tell there's a lot of artwork in here. There's like John Lennon through in the hallway there, and different things, and you've got hammers coming at us at the wall to our left. But that's where I like, and I like big images. I like to print my images big. But that's a fantastic shot, Shona. I like that one.
Thank you.
That's cracking, and that's when you want to capture guitarists. Because guitarists are so static at times.
And getting the whole guitar in as well is quite.
And even we talk about products and getting the neck and then the make of that guitar, because the company might come after you and say, we want to use that. Might make some money out of it. Okay, that's a brilliant shot as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Is there any more you want
no,
to
that's it. Go to the next one.
Okay, so this is your third image.
Yes.
Let's make sure I'm counting. Okay.
All right, yeah.
Keep me right on track. Okay, tell me about this one.
So this is SKAM, who I work with quite a lot. Actually, they discovered them supporting the Answer One tour, and like we've just been friends ever since, really. And I've done like photo shoots for them. Loads of gigs for them, but this gig in particular was when they were recording their live album. So I was down there just to take photos for like the artwork that would be used on the artwork.
Right.
And I wanted this shot just sums up like a SKAM gig. It's in Leicester, which is their hometown. The crowd's full of their friends and families, people that have travelled from ends of the country just to be there, and they're all singing at the top of their voices.
You can see the joy. I would say that everyone in there, there was a girl there closing her eyes, getting right into this t-shirt, and the other girl just behind her, her fingers all sprayed out. The girl just in front of the main guitarist at the front. She's about to punch him, I think.
That's Lauren, their merch girl.
Oh, got you.
So but just
it's quite tight as well. I'm just so close, and
it's a tiny venue, so I was right at the back of the venue, back of the stage, which isn't very big at all.
Stage lights here either side.
So there's stage lights the spotlight's just either side, coming up from the floor, and then like the drum kit is just here. I'm sort of narrowly avoiding getting smashed with Neil's cymbals.
You can see how much they're loving that.
Yeah,
and how good.
it's the towards. I'm pretty certain this is like one of their. This is when they were doing No Lies, which is a big song that everybody sings along to. So
I'll need to check that out.
Yeah, but yeah, it was an amazing gig, and that's what I want to do with photography: is make people who weren't there feel like they were, and like get the excitement and just like the passion of everybody.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of thing I've got a thought in my head as well. It's almost we can video it, we can capture and see the moment, but an image, I think it's so much more, and it's still and it's there because the venue itself, just looking at it's got a lot of iconic
it has
people there as well, and I can see Bob Geldof, who I shot last year.
Yeah, there's Ozzy at the back as well, I think.
Ozzy was there with his big smile. Some nice artwork. I love artwork.
Yeah.
And obviously we've got the graphic design connection. And that again is getting that in.
Yeah.
With the crowd.
And it's showing the venue itself as well.
It's a cracking shot.
Thank you.
I mean, even looking at all the cables, the stages can go, and they've got other. Can you even make out that lad's Converse shoe? Absolutely brilliant. Any reason why you went black and white, or was that just?
It felt more powerful black and white, because there was quite a lot of different colours going on. I thought that it just distracted it from a bit, and it feels more raw.
Right.
Being black and white, and this image actually got used in the gatefold of the CD.
Oh, right.
Of the album.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because that's the kind of part you would do it, and I've done some album covers and gatefold as well, and these are the kind of perfect examples that you can put in there, because it's just really good. I mean, we talked about the support acts, and it's fine how a lot of support acts become the main acts.
That's you're never going to know who's like Foo Fighters were a support act for somebody one year.
I think that's the advice I would give to anybody who wants to start doing this, and get out there and shoot the smaller venues and smaller bands, because these guys will eventually make it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's so much fun. And
it's great fun. SKAM are a phenomenal band to shoot. They're great fun. Like
I'll need to check them out. Sure.
All three of them are so animated, and bass player Matt especially, his eyes roll into the back of his head. He looks like he's possessed by demons.
It's brilliant.
It's brilliant.
That's kind of images that I like to capture as well. It's just amazing when you get those faces.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter who it is. Right. Excellent. We'll go to the next one then.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Foo Fighters.
Yes, this is my fourth image. It's Dave Grohl of Foo Fighters. And this was shot at London O2 Arena.
Right.
Where they did a special one-off show September 2017. So a friend that I used to work with in Future, Joby Sessions, was doing a photo shoot with Taylor Hawkins and the bass player from the Foo Fighters for a Rhythm magazine, and he needed an assistant to help him. So
hands up, I'll go.
Asked me if I was busy, and I'm like, no. So I went down to help him, like just set up, because it was going to be like in and out job basically. He needed to be set up with all the lights ready to go, so the guys could just walk in, get their photo taken, and then walk out. He also managed to sort me out a photo pass for that gig, which was amazing. We weren't sure whether it was going to happen or not. So, and it being at the O2 Arena, I've only got my 24-70, and I knew that wouldn't be big enough. So I didn't have enough time to hire a lens. So Joby kindly lent me a Nikon D810 and a 70-200 lens, which was the first time me actually using that lens as well. Which was
quite going to be hard for you.
Yes, it was quite a
from different settings and stuff.
Yeah, and using somebody else's
camera?
that had been set up. So
Right,
Idols were supporting that gig, so I managed to get
Idols,
in. Yeah.
I think I photographed them at Electric Fields last year.
Yeah, they're Bristol boys made good.
Aye,
But I was lucky enough to get into photograph them because I thought, oh, see how I get on, and it was I was quite lucky that I did. So I was ready to go when the Foos came on, and it was only like 15 minutes, but it was like the whole experience being at the front of that many people in the audience, but it still felt like they were playing to just us.
Yeah.
There was probably like 15 other photographers in the pit at that time, and Dave just doesn't stop moving. He's running up or running the full length of the stage.
He didn't fall off the stage this time, did he?
No, not quite, but wouldn't blame him if he did.
Got a habit of doing that,
but he was actually like the stage at the O2 is quite high. It wasn't as high as what I thought it was going to be, but he was coming actually that close. I couldn't get him in focus.
Okay,
with the 70 mil. But this shot was just when he just happened to be just in front of us and had all the lights going off behind him. And again, it's one of those moments where he's just showing like sheer absolute joy for what he's doing.
It's a cracking shot. I mean, it's the second Foo Fighter picture we've had of him. Stuart had his, where he's sitting on that throne when he broke his leg.
Yeah.
So he's obviously the guy to shoot. I haven't photographed him yet, and I would love to shoot the Foo Fighters.
Brilliant fun, like great fun. Yeah. So I think I went into shock afterwards, like just coming out, like all of us in the photo were like giddy. And I remember getting the tube back and just sitting thinking, none of these people just realise what I've just done.
I know. I think I get that sometimes when I'm coming home. If I get the public transport back and I don't get the car back, because and you just know, you go back and then you go start editing those images.
Yeah.
And then you're sitting there and you get excited. I want to show this to people.
Yeah.
To say, look what I've done, and it's a natural pride. But you should be, because wow, what an opportunity! And obviously, I'm looking at the image and how white and again you with the light. I don't know how you do it.
It was like when
fascinates me.
It's the wonder of Lightroom as well.
Right. Okay.
Because it was quite overexposed. Well, it was when one of the light they had the full spotlights behind them.
The dehaze filter they use in Lightroom.
Sorry.
The dehaze. All I know is in Lightroom, because I don't use Lightroom anymore. Well, I do. I've changed my workflow, but the dehaze thing's quite a good thing now.
Clarity. Is it called?
Clarity.
Yeah. But I managed to get to bring the whites down quite a bit, which because I wasn't sure whether it was one of those touch and go moments where you think, oh, that could be such a great shot. But yeah, thankfully there was enough there.
Really good. I love this. Again, the light coming through his hair and the top of his head, and just it's tack sharp.
Yeah, thank you.
And for you getting somebody else's camera, and you can. It's the photographer. You just work with this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just remember seeing a series of videos on YouTube. I think it was Digital Rev were doing it, and they were just getting the pro with like a Lego camera and stuff like that, and then shoot and showing you can capture anything.
Yeah.
And again, when you've got the excitement going on, and you know that hey, I like the Foo Fighters, I like him. They've got all that going on, so it's a great well done to capture that image and moment. His guitar, you can even see Gibson.
Yeah.
Again, another little bit of product shouting in there.
Yeah, Gibson 335, I think.
Yeah, that's it. His black t-shirts and stuff. Yeah, it's a great shot.
Thank you.
Mr. Brian Ferry.
Yes, Mr.
I'm going to be shooting him this year.
All right.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Brian Ferry, tell me about this image.
This is when Brian Ferry played at the Colston Hall in Bristol. And I was the only photographer there.
Wow.
In the whole venue. So the Colston Halls, like Jimi Hendrix played there, Led Zeppelin have played there. Like it's quite a like basically anybody's been through that. Like, photographed Gary Numan there as well, and like people like the Pretenders, Squeeze, Waterboys. But this was the first time I think that I was the only photographer there, and being the only photographer for somebody like that's Brian Ferry was just absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah, it was.
So it was quite hard. Because it costs. We're only allowed to go down the sides of the venue because it's a seated venue. You're only allowed down the sides and the back.
Usher Hall in Edinburgh, you sometimes get that Usher Hall in Edinburgh.
Yeah, so this was only had it was my 5D and my 70-300 Tamron lens, which is sometimes in low light stuff gets quite noisy, but
don't be noisy.
he had quite intense lighting for this show, and an enormous band with him. So it was just an array of band members, keyboards, mic stands, trying to work through to get any clear shots. And I just wanted that one shot of him that was just summed him up, and this shot does it for me. Still, you can see it's Brian Ferry, and he's doing his like suave dance, and he still does his dancing, and just the look on his face, quite like as well. The light's just catching his eyes.
It's just even, it looks like the light's just caught him perfectly. It's like a triangle. He's just moving into the light, but also just taking a step back out of it again. So it's there's a light coming off from his arm as well. So, were you quite a distance from him there?
I was, so there was a few in the original image. There was like a few. There was like you could see like somebody's arm here, which was just coming down, crosses by his hand and down by his shoulder. So I've cleared that up, tidied it up a wee bit, just so to get it looking as clean as possible.
Every time I look at the image there, you can tell that's his style of music. You've got him perfect. I don't know if I noticed that he'd been touring for a while, but then obviously his name's popping up again and coming through, and obviously he's doing a few festivals this year, and a lot of people are photographing. I'm looking forward to photographing.
Yeah, he still sounds amazing as well, and the band that he's got are brilliant.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's again tack sharp. Exposure's perfect. You can even see his earplug things.
Yeah.
And the mic. I always, because I think it was something that me and Stuart were talking about, and he picked on this. And my photography, you'd notice mine are very sharp, and it's something that I'm trying to go for. You don't mind soft focus, but I'm just a stickler for sharpness.
Yeah. I think some of my shots, I think like that, the one that had a Paul, like his face is just slightly soft, but I think because of the expression and the pose and the lights, it doesn't. It's I think technical accuracy doesn't really matter sometimes, especially like stuff like rock photography. It's all about the emotion, really.
Yeah, and that you can see in that image there, because the music that they sing, and it's all kind of lovely songs.
Yeah, it's quite
that moment.
Yeah.
This is your fifth shot, your final one. It's a great shot. Again, I'm hoping to shoot him this year. Is there any more you want to say about that, Mr. Brian Ferry? Another icon.
Yeah, no. So just that was that. It's one of those moments that you think, yes, I got it. Yeah.
Well, it's. All your 5 images are absolutely brilliant.
Oh,
Love the stories behind them, and even the technical aspects behind them, because we are kind of geeky as well. Most people want to know, how did you get that? What was the shutter speed in that? What was f-stop in that? What was your ISO? From moving on to that, out of all the 5 images, and we'll put a lot of your images up on screen for people to see them. Name dropping bands earlier on that you did. Who would be your ultimate or the best band that you photographed? I mean, you've touched on a couple prior to that, which blew you away, especially Foo Fighters and stuff like that. But out of all the bands that you photographed, who would you say was your most favourite ones?
Oh God, that's really hard to answer, because I think every band's got their own thing, and it's not like you can sort of say, oh, well, one band's better than the other. It just depends on what they bring. So like one of my favourite bands, the moment that I'm absolutely obsessed with is a band called Avatar.
Avatar.
Yeah, and so they
I've
go.
heard about them, and I think Stuart photographed them in his video, and I've put some of his images
Yeah,
up.
they are
Sitting a
phenomenal.
stage and,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. So the
circus,
singer
like.
has like they've all got personas.
Brilliant.
So that the singer's dressed up like the clown. He's got the clown face makeup on. They've all got their like military uniforms on, and it's this whole concept behind Avatar.
Yeah,
the guitarist is called the King. I first saw them supporting a Hailstorm last year.
Right, yeah,
and I've never seen a room react like that to any band, because they walked on and you see people going, what's this all about? But like not even halfway through their set, they had every single person in that venue eating out the palm of their hand, and they were a support act that were announced after the gig had sold out. So I went to shoot them again in January in Bristol at the Anson Rooms. And they had, because they had a completely different setup, and the guitarist come out the stage on a throne.
Right, yeah.
It was just phenomenal. And they're one of those bands that they put so much into the first 3 songs, which is an absolute gift when you're a photographer that's only allowed in the first 3. So they didn't save like all their special stuff for after we finish usually.
Right, okay.
So they had like the throne happening, they had pyro going off, which was amazing, and but yeah, they're definitely one of my favourite bands at the moment to photograph. And then there's people like Wayward Sons who just go on stage, rock out, and get all sweaty, and it's brilliant.
So when you and I'm not in any specific venue, and again, that would be a question, what would be the best venue to shoot at? But again, I think that would be a hard question to say.
Well, it's because it depends on the type of gig as well. Like, I shoot at the O2 Academy in Bristol quite a lot. And it'll depend on the band. Like, you'll always get decent shots in there. But then it will depend on bands. Like Temperance Movement played in there, and their lighting was probably one of the brightest and darkest gigs I've shot at the same time. Which was quite tough, but I think it's good to do gigs like that, because it keeps you on your toes a wee bit.
Yeah, that's but probably following on the next question that I was going to ask you, mixing with the best band that you shoot, the venue, have you got any kind of plan, strategy, or any tips or anything that you do that you know, or is it just a matter when you get there, this is what I've got, and because I'm experienced here, I'm going to put my camera settings this way, I'm going to stand in this part of the pit, I'm going to take this angle, or
so it depends. So it depends on the venue, it will depend on the gig. So like before, if I'm going to a venue that I've never been to before, I'll try and look up photos online of like the stage, or what other photographers have got there before, if there's a pit there or not, which is always useful. And if there isn't a pit, like try and figure out how early I need to get in to try and get a decent spot. Because I don't like getting in people's way, which is, if you don't have a pit, it's quite hard to do. It's somebody the size that I am and tall that I am as well is quite difficult, and I do feel bad like getting in people's way all the time. But
I do that as well. I mean, it's also on top of that, would be any advice you would give to people out of respect and is it pit etiquette they talk about? What would you suggest to anyone that's wanting to do this?
Just keep an eye out on what's happening. Don't stick to the same spot in the pit, or even in the crowd. Like, try and move about. And if you do need to get in somebody's way, just say, "Oh, excuse me, do you mind? I'll only be here for a couple of seconds," and then move on. And then, yeah, just be aware of what's happening, really.
So that's a little bit of tips and advice and your thoughts on the type of bands you like to shoot in the venues. What's next? What's ahead, the projects you're getting lined up?
I would like to do more promo and portrait shoots with like more local bands and yeah, just anybody really. I'd like to do more of that side of things, as well as doing more gigs. Also maybe try and do some design work for bands as well. That'd be the long-term goal. I'd like to do.
Right, and what about gear? Do you fancy upgrading your gear? What we talked about, touched on it.
Yeah, I'd like to get a few different lenses. Like maybe try have a go at see what fisheye lenses are like.
Yeah, I had one last year. I used it at Electric Fields. My thoughts on it. It worked for some things. Yeah. But I think I probably didn't use it at the right time or for the right place.
I think that's quite a niche thing. It will depend on who you're photographing as well, because that wouldn't work for everyone. But yeah, I'd like to try fisheye lens. Also get my own 70 to 200 lens would help. Just for like getting closer to like the drummers as well, that are usually at the back of the venues.
No, they're normally well lit either.
So it's hard to like. You know, you say don't forget the drummers, but sometimes you can't see them. So what do you do? I try to get
everyone on stage.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably focus on the main person, but I try to get everyone. Yeah. And try and get a whole.
But I do like I love photographing drummers as well. Yeah, just because the range of faces that they can make is amazing.
I know. So where can people find you online or anywhere else on print or anything? Tell us about where.
So I have my website, shonacutt.co.uk. I'm also on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Shona Cutt Photography.
Right. Okay.
I think I'm just Shona Cutt on Twitter, and I'm Shona Cutt Photography on Instagram.
Yeah, I can't remember what mine is for a while there, but I changed it just to put my name.
Oh right.
I ended up dropping the photography bit because I thought, well, it's just my name, and it was just too much. Yeah. And try to shorten it even down even more. But that's great. We'll put that on the comments at the bottom of the video as well. Right. We'll add the links in. We're getting near to the end of the video. Thanks for coming to Sound Magic here and there.
Well, thank you for having me.
Studios and doing this little interview with me. I'm hoping to interview a lot more people. And with that, again, who you inspire to, obviously, and who would you suggest that I would look at maybe getting to interview? And it could be anywhere in the world as well, because I know I'm doing mostly Scottish based at the moment, but I'm looking to expand it more.
Personally, one of the photographers that I've always looked up to as well is Marianne Harris. She's worked with, like, the sheer amount of work that she's done is incredible. Like, pretty much nearly every new band that's come on the scene, she's already shot, or Tina Cahonen has shot. Marianne does a lot of video as well. Right, I'll look that up. She does like music videos now. Right, so it'd be interesting to see her being interviewed.
Okay, so you've mentioned some people. I'd like to thank you again for coming.
Thank you.
And all the best with whatever you intend to do in the future, and I hope we meet again. We might meet in the pit again. This has been a long time. I think it was about 10 years ago.
Well, you never know.
A long time ago, but we've known each other for a long time. And I hope that friendship continues. All the best. And thanks again, Shona.
No, thank you for having me.
Okay. You want to say
Bye.
Bye. Bye.